Hi, thanks for joining. I'm Tom Hedgeman, and this is A Compass for the Ways Word of the Day live broadcast. Live broadcast. I am the church. And my life is my ministry. Hi, thank you guys for joining. In First Kings, I believe from chapter 11 through chapter 14 or 15, it talks about what happens after King Solomon dies. And his son, King Rehoboam, I never know how to pronounce their name, reigned in his stead. And what happens when all of Israel go to elect him king and make him king? What happens is that the children of Israel says, King, welcome to the office. Says, will you continue the heavy yoke that your father put on us? We ask that you lighten that yoke, for it was a heavy yoke that your father put on us. And King Rehoboam says, come back to me in 3 days and I'll have an answer for you. And in the course of that time, he consulted with the elders, and the elders gave him one of the core principles of being a great leader: service. They said to him, if you serve the people, they will serve you for the rest of their lives. He rejected that advice and went with the counsel of his friends, his younger friends who he grew up with, I guess. And they told him, no, tell them that your father placed the yoke on you, but his yoke ain't even compared to the yoke that I'm going to place on you. It's going to be a heavier yoke. And the children of Israel went back to their homes and said, what do we have to do with the house of David? They basically, rebelled against the house of David at that point. And there was a leader over the children of Israel. He was Jeroboam. He was the son of a widow. And it was prophesied over his life years ago that he would rule over Israel. And King Solomon at that time attempted to kill him, and he fled the land. Well, when King Solomon died, he came back. And the children of Israel called him to their assembly and said, look, we need you over us because we need representation. I always call Jeroboam the union rep, the president of the union, because that's what Solomon had appointed him as. He was head over skilled labor when Solomon was king. And then Solomon went for his life and he fled. So when he came back, the Israelites knew him as a great leader, knew him as the president of the union. And he's like, look, Rehoboam wants to put a heavier task on us, and we want you to lead us. Rehoboam decided, look, they still have to pay their taxes. They still have to do what I tell them to do. So he sent someone there to collect. And the children of Israel stoned him to death and was like, we have nothing to do with you. At that time, Rehoboam went to war with his brethren. But before he did that, a word from God came to Rehoboam, king of Judah, and said, you will do no such thing. Said, every one of you from Judah and Benjamin, every one of you go back to your houses, for this thing is from me. God essentially said, go back to you ain't going with nobody because this is my doing. This is my doing. And then if you read the story on, I think chapters 14, 15, you see Jeroboam went about doing things differently because they were no longer going back to Judah where the temple was, where the festival was, just excluded themselves out of all those festivals and traditions of Israel because there was a divide there. And he built an order. He was like, well, where are we going to worship him? Where are we going to do these things? And that was not pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. How many of you out there know that both were wrong? Rehoboam was wrong and Jeroboam was wrong. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you're wrong. Every hand should be up. I want you to raise your hand high as you can if you know you're wrong. Wrong in your disagreements, in your relationships, wrong in your disagreements in your marriage, wrong in your disagreements with family, wrong in your disagreements on your job with your boss. I want you to raise your hand high, high as the sky. If you know you're wrong, every hand should be up. God said, this thing is from me. This is my doing. God is the only one that's right. God is the only one that's right. I want you to know this. I want you to know this next time you get into a disagreement with family, next time you get into a disagreement with your boss, next time you get into any disagreement, next time your anger gets the best of you, next time you get real frustrated about something where you feel you're right, raise your hand if you know you're wrong. God is the only one that's right. He said, this is my doing. This thing, whatever thing you're going through, whatever thing you're battling with, this thing is from me. That's what God said. He said, every one of you go back to your homes. This thing is from me. Rehoboam was wrong and Jeroboam was wrong. Both of them were wrong. God is the only one that's right. He is the only one that's right. He is the only one with the plan. Raise your hand if you know you're wrong. I want you to raise it real high. I want to see hands as far as the eyes can see. God is the only one that's right, children of God. He's the only one that's right. Thank you guys for joining. Always know that I love you. God bless.